Miles Warren, Dan Panetta, Jacob Basil, Nick Saberniak.
Together they create the Crown Point Video Production BPA team.
How you doing? I'm Andy.
Nice to meet you, Andy. I'm Jacob.
This is Andy, an electrician who has been part of the trades for over 30 years. You see, they say the world runs on ideas, but what really makes it move? It's the skills, the hands-on knowledge that rebuilds cities, lights up our homes, and keeps the digital pulse beating. We're talking about the trades, where every connection matters, where the current of progress is in your hands. Today, we asked Andy several questions as a senior electrician about his line of work. What initially inspired you to pursue a career as an electrician, and what steps did you take to get started?
So in my last year of high school, I knew for myself, I wasn't somebody that wanted to go to college and work in an office. Kind of wanted to just be able to work with my hands, work outside, and build something. The reason I went in that direction, to get into one of the trades, it's just really an application process, aptitude tests, and things of that nature.
What advice would you give to a middle or high school student who's thinking about pursuing a career in the electrical field?
Some good advice for somebody that wants to pursue the electrical work is, you have to be somebody that's self-motivated and be able to adapt in different environments. You could be working out in the heat or the cold, but you also have the advantage of you earn while you learn. You don't have to pay for college, so you don't have to, worry about any debt like that. And you can earn a pretty good living in a short amount of time.
What are some common misconceptions people have about electricians?
Probably one of the biggest ones is that it's not as physically demanding job as the rest of the construction world. It can be, one day you're working in a ditch installing big conduit, or you're up and down a ladder 50 times in a day. So it is a physically demanding job, without a doubt.
But now it's time to discuss the differences between a journeyman and an apprentice. The journeyman obviously has all the experience one needs to initiate projects, contact clients, earn a full-scale wage, design, and troubleshoot. It's pretty obvious that the one that has been arriving at an early 7 a.m. 5 times a week, 52 weeks a year, are the ones initiating everything. In fact, they're the ones guiding others, according to our apprentice Walter Cook. More on him later. What inspired Andy to join after high school was the nature of him not wanting to sit behind a desk during work, as he really enjoyed building something and seeing it come to fruition. Seeming as he's still in it by now tells us that it has treated him well over the years, and that he's learned everything there is about electricians inside out. But there are some differences compared to apprentices that just got out of high school, so come check it out.
Which is why we wanted to hear more from a new generation, a novice junior who has just come fresh from education.
My name is Walter Cook. I'm an apprentice electrician for Local 697.
What was the most challenging part of your apprenticeship or initial training?
I would say the most challenging part was probably getting used to doing manual labor every day and then figuring out how to use each tool. I know obviously coming from high school, it's a lot different from pen and paper and class to class versus now, job to job and tool to tool. So I think that was probably the biggest adjustment for me.
How does your role and responsibility differ from a senior electrician?
I think one of the major differences is that I think I take care of a lot of the little things. So whether that be taking out the trash, sweeping the trailers, putting material away, things like that. It can also revolve around, them being up top in the lift, and then I'm down low. Maybe I'm bending pipe, maybe I'm putting materials together to give them up top so they can install. I think another big one is that I'm not allowed to do any energized work, which means the wires are hot, there's power to them. You have to be a journeyman to do that. What I would be doing instead is terminating littler things, putting things away, cleaning up, stuff like that.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years, and what milestones do you hope to achieve?
In 5 years, I guess a couple things. I think the biggest is obviously to become a journeyman and top out. I'd love to try to branch out and work on bigger tasks. I would like to assume, the role of a foreman maybe, if that's an opportunity. I think also in 5 years, one of my big goals is that I'd like to buy a duplex. I'd like to get into the real estate business and try to branch out and have more options for money as I get older.
So with all that being said, we're super glad you can join us on this journey about electricians and their role in the trade. Because like we prefaced in the intro, they're the ones building the cities we walk in, the lights of homes we live in, and innovation is forever lasting within the electrical field. It is important to dive deep in the journeys of these trade workers because everything they do mostly goes unseen, which we felt was unjust for just how much work and effort is put in this field for our society. You'd call them the superheroes of this world, which is a theme we wanted to bring to you today. We are happy to be here at NLC to amplify the impact of electricians in today's society.